The death toll from the bombings that killed a group of herders in Nassarawa State has risen to 40. Governor Abdullahi Sule says there are approximately about 40 people that were killed during the blast, up from 27. The explosion on Wednesday took place in Rukubi, a village on the border between Nasarawa and Benue states, a region known for ethnic and religious violence.
We had an incident yesterday where a drone actually, now we confirm it's a drone. A drone actually came up and bombed an area where some Fulanis that went to collect their arrested cattle from Benue State were bombed. And we now have approximately about 40 people were actually killed during the process. Roughly about 200 other leaders of the Fulani community, here in Nassarawa State and also part of Benue. So when they came, we were able first to send our condolences over the incident that happened and the loss of lives that we had yesterday. We were able to pacify them, and we took a decision that we will take this matter up with the federal government. And we are also trying to schedule a meeting, where some of the leaders of Meti Allah will also have the opportunity to meet with some of the security chiefs in Abuja, for the purpose of finding a lasting solution to what is happening.
The governor of Nassarawa State there, Abdullahi Sule. Well, let's bring in defense and security expert Dr. Kabir Adamu for the latest on this developing story. Hello, good evening, and warm welcome to Newsnight. It's over 72 hours now, Kabiru, that this bombings from the air still remains a mystery because the Nigerian Defense Forces or the Nigerian Armed Forces have totally denied any knowledge of that bombing. Does that not make the Nigerian people and its state really unsecure?
Thank you, Kristen. No, I wouldn't reach that conclusion. It's worrisome. Actually, I can use words from embarrassing to worrisome to unfortunate that such an incident happened, and that almost 2 days after the incident, we have not received a formal, even if it's an interim report, saying exactly what was the cause of that, attack, blast, and who was responsible for it. First off, it happened within Nigerian territory. Secondly, it affected Nigerian lives, about 40 lives confirmed today. And then it happened in a location where we know that armed conflict has been occurring. So yeah, it's absolutely important that some kind of statement, even if it's a preliminary statement, answering this question that I've mentioned, should have been released by now.
And Kabir, I wonder what you know about the area. What can you tell us about that area? I mean, some have described it as mysterious. I wonder how difficult and how long it will take to have something to tell the Nigerian people.
One word, Adithwa, impunity. And that's what we need to end. There's nothing mysterious about that area. It's the border area between Nasarawa and Benue State. It's in terms of vegetation, it's not as dense as some parts of southern Nigeria, and in fact, as some parts of northern Nigeria. There's nothing mysterious about that area. What is mysterious is this impunity that continues to reign. It's the legacy, of course, of the military era, but 20-something years into the Fourth Republic, we should end that impunity. The military's element within the executive arm of government. If the executive arm of government is not responding, then the parliament should set up a committee to investigate that incident and give answers to the Nigerian people. That is how a democracy works.
We've seen bombings like this, Kabiru. Let's not be too... do I say cautious or the rest, by the Nigerian Air Force bombing IDP camps in Maiduguri, where more than 400 people were killed, and that, passed we've had such again in Niger State, and I think about 3 incidents, and this coming up, and we're hearing the Nigerian military is telling Nigerians that they don't know anything of it. The security agencies don't know anything of it. What kind of mystery is this? That a bomb from air, not, you know, an IED, will kill more than 40 persons, and not, like you said, a preliminary report. Isn't it very curious?
Like I say, I wouldn't want to use the word mystery. I'm using the word impunity. The representative of the Nigerian military who made that statement made it, I think, on the spur of the moment. The Chief of Defense Staff is a well-respected person. I know him personally. He does not condone any act of extrajudicial killing. Likewise, the Minister of Defense and the several other persons that head the hierarchy of the various units of the military. I'm very certain that very soon we'll hear from them to clarify what happened, and of course, who is responsible. I mean, there's no mystery here. The only arm of government that has that kind of superior air power till date, and I stand to be corrected, we still have dominance over our airspace. I know there are conspiracy theories going around that some unknown aircraft are being seen within the Nigerian airspace, but they remain conspiracy theories. We still have dominance over our airspace. So this issue needs to be clarified in very clear terms. Who carried out that attack? If it was in error, it should be stated that it was an error. If there was an element of negligence, whoever authorized it should be held responsible. That is what democracies do.
Okay, I mean, you have chosen the word impunity, and some will wonder if it's not cover-up. Dr. Kabir, let me ask you, because you say we should hear from them very soon, but how soon is very soon, especially for families of victims who don't understand what has happened to their loved ones that have been buried, for the government of Benue and Nasarawa who they claim they don't know what happened and don't know what to tell their people. And what does that mean for that area that has been, threatened by conflicts between herders and farmers? This delay, what does it portend for the security around that area? And what is the implication for security, really?
And this is where the tiers of government, the role of the tiers of government really comes into play. We must commend the Nassarawa State government for acting fast. We know that it convened a meeting yesterday where it invited stakeholders. And I think that has, to an extent, has helped reduce the tension in that area. At least there is some conversation. At least there are mentions of reparation. There are mentions of compensation. All of this would go a long way towards reducing the grievance and the anger that is within that particular group. I mean, I don't want to belabor the point. You have mentioned how the circumstances through which this incident happened. They went to retrieve their cattle from Benue State. They paid heavy fine for violating a law in Benue State. They were on their way back, I think, to Yobe, driving through Nassarawa State when this incident happened. So clearly, they are law-abiding citizens who are victims of whatever error or whatever it was. We don't know at this stage whether it was an error or it was intentional or perhaps several other reasons. But an investigation, either at the level of the organization the only organization that has dominance over the airspace at this stage that I know is the military. However, I must caution, one of the risk elements that we identified in our report of 2022 is that there is a plethora of security organizations in Nigeria that are acquiring drones, and there is no regulation around this area. So this is one of the risks. When you allow organizations to acquire drones, unfortunately, sometimes these things have consequences. So I think it's high time that we put some element of control over the organizations that have been acquiring drones and, of course, their usage within the country. But suffice to say that the steps taken by the Nassarawa State government are commendable. Those steps need to be taken over by the federal government. Again, we're in a democracy. If the executive arm is not doing its side, then the legislative arm should come in and commend an investigation and explain to Nigerians what happened.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed. Thanks so very much, Dr. Kabir, there for, giving some verve to this issue, which Well, Nigerians are still looking for answers how further people would have been killed from the air just like that. Thank you.